Good morning, everyone. So today I am so happy. I wanted to do an unboxing, first impressions of a tarot deck that is not only so beautiful from everything I've seen on walkthroughs, but holds a special place in my collection and in my heart because it was created by a dear friend, Rose Bay Tarot. One of the friends that I have discovered in the tarot community, and then we found out that we have a lot of similarities, such as she lived in the country where I am based and was born and grew up in, and there's so many overlapping things, and I'm so glad to finally have a chance to own a deck of hers because she is a deck creator that does decks that are always very meaningful, very passionate, very raw. She's excellent at collage decks. But yeah, I finally own one of her decks. And I am hoping, if you live in the Philippines, which is where I'm from, and you want to acquire the Blue Bones Tarot, I have 4 people, including myself, that are interested in getting that, so we get the Make Playing Cards discount. We need 2 more. So anyway, I digress. Back to the Lacrimosa Tarot. This is like all my emo goth dreams come true. It's beautiful, it's raw, it's sacred, and I did get the one with the red gilding. How could I not? There are a bunch of, There are a bunch of versions of the Lacrimosa Tarot that you can get on Make Playing Cards. It does come with a booklet. It's an art reference, so basically it lists all the artwork that was used, and oh my goodness, yes, even the dates. So lists all the artwork that she used in creating this deck. I find that very helpful because I do like to look up artwork if a deck uses found art. If you hear something in the background, that's my cat having zoomies. And I also love the quote that she has here. I want night, vast night, roses into the black sky, ashen evening tears, by Gregor Leroy. From Legendary and Melancholic Themes. It's beautiful. The version that I picked up is the deck with the beautiful red gilding. My gosh, Make Playing Cards. I had no idea that they had this kind of quality of decks. And I've always been hesitant to pick up the standard smooth decks because I'm a linen girly, but I'm so glad I did for this one. Also, the version that I have does not have titles on the majors. It has numbers, but it does not have titles. So I thought we would do this together because I want to be blown away with you guys. So I know I'm late to the game. There are a ton of walkthroughs and first impressions of this deck, but bear with me. So we have the Fool, and we have this beautiful image of a lamb. And I do think is that a halo? It looks almost like a galaxy. I'm going to try to read some of the art here. So it says The Fool, the Sacrificial Lamb by Josefa de Ayala. So they're beautiful. And if you come into it with the context of this is the sacrificial lamb, that makes a lot of sense for the Fool in a deck that is meant to be very sort of holy but solemn and somber, and I believe Lacrimosa means tears. I'll look it up again. I know it has something to do with tears and I can't look it up right now because I'm using my phone to film. So I apologize if that's not the correct meaning, but beautiful Fool. My God, the magician. Look at that. So we have a painter and we have this skeletal being playing the violin in his ear and kind of giving him that inspiration. That is an amazing magician. Let me just see here. Self-portrait with death, playing the fiddle. My God. Okay. There's just gonna be, I'm not gonna be very eloquent, I feel, because I'm just like, wow. When you think of the magician as someone that utilizes the power and the forces of nature, right? Like, or all the elements, you can almost see like, okay, there is divine inspiration here. There is something, some energy that is feeding that into this channel of power. Then you have the High Priestess. Sorry, my throat's a little scratchy too. Excuse me. So you have the High Priestess, very beautiful, very simple, but the impact is, I can't even begin to say, like, very in touch with the unknown. You have the moon there representing the unknown, very in touch with her intuition. Even the use of this kind of blue, which is like sinking into water, which can be a symbol for the unconscious. And the High Priestess is sort of that guardian of the unconscious. Then you have the Empress, beautiful classical imagery of the Empress. And the Emperor. I love the red here, like it's just, it stands out. And because of all the black, when you have a pop of color, it just makes it so striking. And red being that color that is associated with Aries and power, very fitting for the Emperor archetype. Then you have the Hierophant, beautiful. So you have the hands holding the rosary. And again, you can barely kind of see, I think it's clearer in natural light, which I'm not getting a lot of right now. So it might be showing up on the camera even better, but in person, you can kind of just see the outline of the black outfit. So really what it looks like is sort of floating hands with the rosary and a little bit of an obscured face, which you can read into as well, as far as the Hierophant representing tradition and how that can obscure and be something that limits you, or it can be something that is illuminating. Then you have the Lovers, and it's two hands on a skull. This is so interesting. I love the use of the skull here, actually. So let me just see the Lovers. The Judd Memorial. I'm gonna have to look that up, but it's beautiful. And there is a saying here, the world of God hath knit versus twain, and death shall versus, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to get a magnifier and read that, but it looks beautiful. And I feel like it's knowing Rose Bay, it's been chosen with care. So there is an added layer there. I'm 41, guys, and I don't have my reading glasses, so forgive me. Then we have, oh my goodness, the Chariot. Excuse me. I don't know how to edit and crap out things like me coughing, so apologies. I will show you I've made my chai. It's delicious. Okay, back to the cards. The Chariot, gorgeous. This reminds me, so Rose Bay is part Filipino, and I'm born and raised in the Philippines, although not ethnically Filipino. This reminds me of the Manananggal, which is a monster, a mythical being in Philippine mythology, where it's a beautiful woman, and at night, half of their body has wings, so the top half flies off, and then they feed on, we won't go there, but they leave their legs and their weight, like the waist and the legs down, wherever they live. And if you are able to find the bottom half, put the salt on the waist so that they can't connect by the time the sun comes up, then they die. So it's very intriguing. This reminds me of the Manananggal, but also something very driven, something almost dark. There's a really beautiful kind of dark theme to this deck, not in like a heavy kind of negative aura, but just in a very like solemn, it feels like it's connecting me to the unconscious, to the shadow, to the things that I don't want to look at as much, that is really helpful for me to integrate. So for the Chariot, what does this say? So the only thing is I can't quite read very well the items in red, but it says La Femme. I'm not even gonna try. So that's more on me, guys. My eyes have always been shit. My sight, anyway. Then we have the Strength. Oh my gosh, is this Cleopatra and the Asp? Okay, I know I said I wouldn't like. I guess I'm gonna have to do a series of videos because it's gonna take forever. But yep, Cleopatra and the Snake. This is beautiful. And if you know the story of Cleopatra and the Snake, like I don't know if it's been proven, but it's certainly the narrative that she used the asp to kill herself when she didn't want to surrender. And this is beautiful because it feels very much like a depiction of strength that is defiant and on their own terms. Then we have the Hermit. Beautiful Hermit. I love how many skulls there are here, and also just look at that lone star that is popping out. This is, I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to working with this so much because I just did the Archetypal Tarot School with Mariana Louise for this year, and I'm learning a lot about diving into the unconscious, Jungian concepts, depth psychology, and this deck with the layers of meaning and intention behind it, and how deceptively simple the images are, but there's so much that you can parse out from. I'm really looking forward to applying that style of reading to this deck. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. She looks like she's holding some kind of needle, or is it a spindle? I come back to the little art book. Saint Catherine by Caravaggio. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up as well. And I love these decks because you can tell that they were created and curated by someone who loves art. And for someone like me, where that wasn't a part of their curriculum growing up, to have the chance to discover it through a medium that I love is so cool. This is how I discovered who Odilon Redon was, through the Lonely Dreamer Tarot. And I discovered a lot more of the classical artists through tarots like the Tarot of Aphrodite and the Venus Morning Stars. So I love my found art decks. I am very picky about what I bring in because, you know, you'll see similar imagery or the same imagery across decks, but these ones I can say I have not seen yet. And then we have 411. Oh my gosh, the Death card. No, I'm so sorry. It's not the Death card. Oh, what am I doing? It is, why am I forgetting? I'm a tarot reader, I promise. Justice. Oh my goodness. Okay, I blanked. Justice. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to look again. I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be getting cards and then I'm going to be diving down a Wikipedia hole trying to look up the art. Justice, Saint Michael the Archangel. This is very intriguing. I love that for Justice. Then we have the Hanged Man. Beautiful. It's like a very zoomed in. Is this Jesus on the cross? Christ at the column. My gosh, I love how zoomed in this is, and you really just have to like, it feels very intentional. Especially, this is why I didn't want the titles on the majors, because very often I can see, oh, the Hangman, and I'll go to my meaning of the Hangman, because it's easier for me with the majors to memorize the meanings and what they mean to me. But when I have a deck like this where I have to be in the moment and look at it and not rely on something to call on a meaning that I have stored in my brain, it leads to new things. Now it's the Death card. Okay, this is gorgeous. They're pointing at something There is a eclipse in the background. You can barely see the, like it is literally just a hand and a skull. This is gorgeous. Wow, Sir William Petty. I cannot wait to dive into all of this. Then we have Temperance. Beautiful, again with the red. The Devil, my goodness, yep. How does this deck say so much by being so, without showing everything? It's amazing. So that kind of like dark energy, and then you just see this creature, and I think that's a human hand. Okay, I have to go back to it. I'm gonna keep going back to this. Youth with a ram. Okay, even from the title alone, you can pick up some intuitive hits. Beautiful. Then we have the Tower. Wow. An angel, seems like, falling. And we have the Star. Oh, this is so beautiful. Again, beautiful use of that kind of black negative space. Like it's just gorgeous. The Moon, oh, I love this. And you have the crayfish and the moon in her hand. The fact that Rose Bay found this artwork, or like recalled this artwork in particular for this card, is a testament to how much thought she puts into her decks. In Costanza, an allegory of fickleness. Wow. Then you have the Sun. Even still with the Sun, there's this darkness that keeps with the theme. It's so well done. I'm so glad I got this. It's 100 times, like it was already stunning in walkthroughs, but I promise you, in hand, it's 100 times more beautiful. Then you have the Judgment. Wow. I think I have to go back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this in a bunch of series. Like, God, okay, the Judgment. La Meditazione. Okay, La Meditazione. Beautiful. And the World. So you see the globe. It's very much like an adventurer's cavern. Beautiful ending to that. So now we are in the Wands of the Lacrimosa Tarot. And let's kick off with the Ace of Wands. This is beautiful. This kind of naked figure covered with this passionate red robe, which I assume will be a theme with the Wands. Let's see. The Two of Wands. So you do have that kind of planning and preparation coming through. Oh, I missed one. Hang on. There we go. A little sticky. That's fine. It's new. The Three of Wands. This is so intriguing. So this is not a deck that I can just be like, oh yeah, I know what the Three of Wands means. No, I need to look up certain things here. Saint Jerome writing is the piece of artwork. Beautiful. Four of Wands. So you know how like the Four of Wands is typically like the celebratory happy card. And it still feels like this is kind of breaking of bread in some way, but very in line with the theme of the deck. So I appreciate that a lot, because you can have found art decks that they really just don't, they're kind of a mishmash of stuff, and they work with the meaning of the card, but not all together as a theme. The Five of Wands figures wrestling. Again, I come back to the guidebook. Let's see what it says here. Hercules and Casus. This is so intriguing. I'm going to be learning so much. I love it. This is a study deck for me. The Six of Wands, wow, beautiful. Being crowned while holding a child. The Seven of Wands, this is gorgeous. Again, I'm not someone that's familiar with classical art or, you know, historical art, but I'm blown away. I have a number of found art decks, and I have not seen any of this in them. Eight of Wands, interesting, because there is a person here where traditionally the Eight of Wands does not have people in the art, so I do want to look that up. The Inspiration of Saint Matthew. Oh, that's intriguing for the Eight of Wands. The Nine of Wands, resilience. Wow. And you can almost imagine a story here because it looks like this person has been attacked or has gone through the ringer. So again, we're back here, Nine of Wands, the liberation of Saint Peter. That is beautiful. And if you have sort of a knowledge of biblical stories, which I do, the Bible is very dark, I believe, in its stories. I don't know why people try to sort of whitewash it or like tone it down. So even looking at that as mythology or, you know, stories, if you're, so it's different for people, right? Like people can look at the Bible and say that that is not a historically accurate document. And some people claim that it is. However you want to see it. For me, the stories that are in there, I am familiar with. So knowing that, knowing what happened to Peter, and then you have the Nine of Wands. This is very intriguing. 10 of Wands. Oh my gosh, is he cradling skulls? I feel like he is. Wow. That feeling of just that immense burden that you're carrying. So again, we're back to the guidebook. Saint Jerome. I'm gonna have to look up Saint Jerome because he features in a lot of these artworks. The Page of Wands. The Knight of Wands. I love how zoomed in that is. He does look like he's in motion and it looks very flowing, and it's passion and energy and impulse in motion. The Queen of Wands. Beautiful, softer queen than what I expected, but that hit of red just makes it for me. And the King of Wands. It reads very much like a shadow deck for me, which I love, because the King of Wands being that visionary, but you can see here in this depiction how cold and lonely that must be, but you have to sustain yourself because you're sustaining other people with your fire, with your vision, with your ideas. So very intriguing. And that is the Wands. Okay, now we are in the Cups, or in this deck, it's the Hearts. So we're gonna go through the suit of feeling and emotion, and the Cups or the Hearts here, for me, they connect very well to our unconscious side. So let's begin. Ace of Hearts. This is a very common religious image, which I love for this. It's very in tune with like sacrificial love. So if I look at the heart, the Holy Heart of Jesus. Oh, the Two of Hearts. This is beautiful. And you can kind of make it out. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I see an outline of a chalice and then the two roses. Really beautiful. The Three of Hearts. This is just perfect. So again, if I'm looking at the guidebook, the three is still life with a Nautilus cup. What is a Nautilus cup? I'm gonna have to look all this stuff up, and I am looking forward to doing that. The Four of Hearts. So you do see that sort of kind of disconnection. Like there's a lot of emotion as she's staring into this, but there's a wall, there's a veil. There is a disconnection, which lines up very well with the Four of Hearts being a card of apathy, or perhaps emotion you're not willing to acknowledge yet. So here you have the Maria Maddalena in Meditazione. So Mary Magdalene in meditation. The Five of Hearts. So empty of a cup, really symbolizing that grief, that I have nothing left to give. I am barren and broken. The Six of Hearts. Beautiful. That locket with a portrait just symbolizing, you know, nostalgia and memory. The Seven of Hearts. I love this. It's a nod to the RWS, right? Where you have several cups, but what's coming out of it? Is it good? Is it bad? You don't know, but it's a focus on one of those cups. Beautiful. The Eight of Hearts. The Eight of Hearts is about walking away, right? Or like leaving something behind, taking agency for yourself, knowing that you love something, but you know it's best for you to leave it. So what does it say here about the Eight? Marriage a la mode. Interesting. The Nine of Hearts. Beautiful. And the Ten of Hearts. This rich platter of fruit and flowers. But again, because of the background, it is very celebratory, but it's also grounding you in reality, right? Like the 10 of Hearts or the 10 of Cups is usually a card where people are like, everything's perfect, but perfection doesn't last. So it's like, take the moments where you have this and really value it, because the wheel always turns. The Page of Hearts, gorgeous. The Knight of Hearts, the heart on fire. The Queen of Hearts. I love that the hearts are on fire here. Oh, even the King of Hearts. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I need to sit with the court cards for the hearts a little bit more. And now we are in the sword suit. Let me just have a sip of my chai that I heated up. I make my own chai every other day. I make 2 cups and I keep one in the fridge because I'm lazy that way. Anyway, back to the swords. The Ace of Swords. Is that a snake sort of in the hilt of the sword? This is intriguing. We're now in the suit of the mind. A rational suit where logic, objectivity, clarity reside. Then you have the Two of Swords. I love that the moon is here. I love that she has one hand down, one hand in her heart, because for me, the Two of Swords in the classical RWS, you know, the swords crossing and the figure being seated like at the edge where there is water, but there is land. And to me, that's very much you're thinking, wrestling with your emotions, which causes paralysis in a way. The Three of Swords, piercing her own heart, her own breast. Let me see here. Lucretia by Artemisia Gentileschi. I hope I said that right. Is it Lucretia Borgia? I'm not sure. It's beautiful. Four of Swords. Oh my goodness. There almost seems to be like something hidden there. But this person is definitely in rest. For the Vampire. So I was right. I want to look that up a little bit more. And definitely shine a light on that for me. The Five of Swords. My gosh. A snake. Is that a butterfly? This is beautiful. And very much capturing that essence of the Five of Swords, which is really about the conflict of the mind. I read the Five of Swords so very much as an inner conflict. Not necessarily that someone wants to win at all costs. It's kind of like, for me, what parts of myself are embracing these narratives that are harmful to me. Six of Swords. This is beautiful. The Six of Swords traditionally has that image of people on a boat leaving something, you know, behind, but moving towards better shores. This image to me reminds me of, in line with the theme of the deck, the story of Noah and the Ark, where they had been in the Ark, was it 40 days? I'm not sure, I forget. But trying to see if the waters had receded from the great flood and that there was land. They would send out a bird, and at one point they sent out a dove, and the dove returned to them with an olive branch, I believe, showing that there was land and they could stop sailing in the boat and come out of it. So for me, fits really well with the Six of Swords. Now I'm curious as to the actual artwork. It has nothing to do with that story. At the fountain. So probably doesn't, but it still works. Then the Seven of Swords. Oh my goodness, yes. Wearing the mask. for me, the Seven of Swords very much reads as, well, seven is a number of trickster energy, right? So whenever I see a seven, I always have to be like, am I seeing, I need to look below the surface of something. And with the swords, it's like, what are you telling yourself that you believe you need in order to succeed? Or what is the thing that you really believe to be true about a situation? But when I see the Seven of Swords, it's like, look deeper. This is a mask. It's not about someone deceiving you. It could be that, but it also could be just that we are not digging beneath the surface to find out what's really going on. The Eight of Swords. Oh, I love this. The Eight of Swords just being paralyzed by your own thoughts, by the things that you've accepted as truth. So if I'm looking at the card here, and I love that she looks just done with everything. Like, come on. Allegory of patience. Yeah, she's done with life. Like, I get it. Nine of Swords. Oh, there it is, like a demon sitting on this woman. Wow, that's powerful. Nightmare is the title of the artwork. This is really powerful because I have had sleep paralysis, and I've also had, let's say, sleep visitations or visions. To me, the Nine of Swords as anxiety and paralysis really does feel like this. And this is something that people that have had sleep paralysis will tell you they do see figures. They do interact with beings, let's say, whether you believe that's just a concept in your mind, whether you believe they're real or not, I have no opinion one way or the other. I know I have experienced something like this, and it is exactly the feel of the Nine of Swords, where something is literally sitting on me and I just can't move. And to a degree, that is my mind, right? Like, that is my mind trying to protect me or trying to keep me in place. So very interesting take on the Nine of Swords. And the Ten of Swords. Just, this looks like, I think, let's see if I'm right, but this looks a little bit like Caesar being stabbed. Which I'm sure might not be that, but Judith beheading Holofernes. Oh, this is amazing. Because it's Judith, another figure in the Bible. She was badass. So if you look at it from the point of you are Judith, and if you look at it from the point of view or this person, like, there's multiple ways to interpret this card. I love it. Then you have the Page of Swords, beautiful energy, sort of setting out on that first quest. The Knight of Swords. Is this Judith again holding the head? No. Yes? Let's see. Knight of Swords. No, it's David with the head of Goliath. Yes, this is beautiful. Okay. Yes, because he won by strategy. Just saying. And determination. The Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords. How my cat's hair made it into a brand new deck, I will never know. So we are finally in the last suit, the suit of coins, the suit of pentacles. Over here it's coins. Excuse me while I take a sip of my chai. Okay, we have the Ace of Coins, beautiful, bountiful grapes. Again, I'm going to look at the booklet here. Still life with ivory cup between fruit and a porcelain plate with grapes. I love that for the Ace of Coins. The Two of Coins. So the Two of Coins is really about finding balance, right? With your energy, with what you have on your plate. So if I'm looking at the Two of Coins, the artwork here is, it's a name. I won't pronounce it, but I'm gonna look it up. The Three of Coins. This is beautiful. He looks like he's resting, but he's actually in discussion. You see his hand flexed. So it's not passive, which the coins I don't think are a very passive suit. Like, they're all about the body, the soma, somatic experience, energy experience. the 3. So the 3 of coins, Paul rebukes the repentant Peter. So this is Paul, this might be Peter. Very intriguing. So the 3 of coins usually is a card of collaboration, but the story of Paul rebuking Peter is sort of like someone that is relatively new to the faith at the time versus one of the long-standing pillars of the faith. By the faith, I mean like Christianity in this context, which was not quite done in that time, but Peter actually received it. So that is a very interesting story of collaboration, where it's not just about the niceties of that. It's about having the strength of character to point out the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, the light and the shadow. Then the 4 of coins, beautiful. That grasp on that material, and you see like, this is amazing. It's like a sheer material and they're grasping onto it, and it really conveys that feeling of, I don't want to let this go, which the 4 of coins can be seen as greed, but for me it's not just greed, because sometimes it can be boundaries. So whatever it is, you're grasping onto something, trying to stay in control, not wanting to let something go. So if I look again at the guidebook or the pamphlet, for Venus and Cupid, how intriguing. Venus famously not wanting to let her son marry Psyche and kind of controlling everything around that to keep things in the status quo. Then you have the 5 of coins, that despair that is present just in the flex of that hand on the wall. Saint Jerome in prayer, beautiful. You really feel the loss in that card, the despair in that card, the emotion coming out. Then you have the 6 of coins, the 7 of coins, the beautiful fruit. Looking at it thinking, is it ripe? Do I need to pick it? Do I need to move on? So this is the vase with flowers. Sorry, not fruit, that's a rose. Like I said, my eyesight is not what it used to be. But same concept. Do you pluck it? Do you enjoy it? Do you let it bloom? It's not yet in bloom. The 8 of coins, so sketching. The 9 of coins, the dove. How intriguing. Let's look at that one. Mary Magdalene and the Eucharistic chalice. Wow. The 10 of coins. Then, oops, we're skipping ahead a bit. The page of coins. The knight of coins, I love this. Let's look that up, shall we? Woman's head with ram horns. I love this as the knight of coins because it brings into, you know, the ram is a very stubborn animal. I mean, it's associated with Aries. But at the same time, you see here kind of the hesitancy to move. So I love that for the knight of coins. The queen of coins, and finally the king of coins. So that is the Lacrimosa Tarot. I am in love. It will be a study deck. It's not going to be a deck that it's going to come easily to me, but I am very up to the challenge of working with it. The gilding is beautiful. It is a lot darker in person. I saw it on the camera and I was like, oh, you can see it a little bit clearer there. Standard smooth cardstock. It's beautiful though. I truly, truly love it. Let's see how it shuffles. I feel like I'm probably just gonna shuffle it overhand, or is that overhand or side to side? I don't know. Let's try a riffle shuffle. I hesitate because the gilding is cool. It riffle shuffles quite well. I am surprised. I'm not the best riffle shuffler, guys, as you can tell. But that is gorgeous. Let's see if I can get a better shuffle. That's beautiful. I have a feeling that will chip the gilding if I do that often. And I love the gilding way too much. So we're gonna keep it as is. There are some minor imperfections on the printing, but that's just what you get with a print on demand. So it's fine. It's not anything that I would be upset about. This deck is far too beautiful, far too emotive for me to have complaints. So because it is on standard smooth cardstock, you do get a nice fan as well. And I will end with a card pull, the King of Hearts. Excuse me. If this is representative, there you go, of the deck, this is certainly something that is going to ignite a deep love in me for whatever the messages are, and a way for me to dive into my unconscious in a way that has more intention and more like a goal of mastery and getting to know the inner parts of myself. So that is the Lacrimosa Tarot deck, and I am so happy to have it in my collection. Thank you guys for taking the time to be with me. As always, take care. Bye.